Welcome and thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk about an overview of what Google Meet is, tasks, and GQueues. This is a beginner's information share and demonstration introducing you to Meets, tasks, and GQueues. An overview of what we're going to cover today. We're going to define what Meets, tasks, and GQueues are. We're going to talk about how to access each of them, share some tips on how to use Meet, tasks, and GQueues, and share a little feedback from my experiences. My name is Crystal Hooper. I got my MLIS from the University of Alabama. I am the branch manager of the North Plainfield branch of the Somerset County Library System of New Jersey. I'm also NJALA's digital liaison and an aerospace education member for Civil Air Patrol. All right, so diving right in. What is Google Meet? It has a look and usability feel, which is similar to Zoom. You can pin users to the screen, change the view, have a chat option. You can react with different emoji icons, and you can record the meeting to share with any participants who might have missed. Google Meet is compatible on desktop computers, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. No software is needed, just an internet connection. Google Calendar allows you to add a Google Meet into any scheduled meeting for a seamless virtual hybrid experience. And Gmail allows you to host a pop-up Google Meet session with a colleague in just seconds. So we're going to launch a new browser window and show you how to access it. So if you've attended any of my tutorials before, normally I say start with just a Google Chrome browser. Click on what I call the waffle, but it's the Google Apps menu. And you're going to look for, sorry about that, you're going to look for Google Meet down here, which by icon you can find and click on. If you click on it from there, you get a few options. If you were invited to a meeting and you have the code, you can type the code in here. Once something is typed in the box that resembles a full code, you would click on Join. If you want to just start a new meeting, you can click on that button and it'll give you a few prompts. Create a meeting for later, start an instant meeting, or schedule it in a Google Calendar. So if you want to do start an instant meeting, it's going to load you right in. You hear that bonk? That was to join the session. And then it's going to say your meeting's ready. Do you want to add others? So you can start typing in their names. So first you see some people that NJALA has collaborated with recently that are in the things. And I see myself as like my workplace in there too. You can keep scrolling through to find people, or you can type in their email, even if you've never met with them before, and send them the invite link. This is the invite link. So this, you can click on the little rectangle boxes to copy it, and it'll say meeting link copied, and then you can go to a different browser or tab that you have open, and you can invite others to the link. But you see across the bottom, it has things like you can turn on the captions, you've got reactions, present now is like sharing your screen. You've got the raise a hand feature, more options gives you, things where you can change the layout of how you're seeing people. Do you want to do full screen or just partial screen? Lots of different options in there. Over on the right-hand side, you've got the meeting details. So it'll show you again what the code was to get into this meeting. And if you got eagle eyes, you can see it ends in YZR. That's the same we see on the left-hand screen where we copied the meeting invite to share with someone else. If you had done this meeting from your Google Calendar, any attachments you had added would show up here. I did a webinar series about Google Calendar in a separate series, so I'm not going to cover that too much here, but you can go back and watch how to do that from our YouTube channel. There's the in-call messages, which works very similarly to how Zoom and other virtual meeting space platforms work, where you can say, I want everyone to see my message, or just certain people in the message that are in the meeting with you. There's activities. So if you needed to add more, there's add-ons for Google Meets. If it's not already in there, you can click this button. It'll give you a new pop-up of things that are will collaborate and function within the meeting environment, and that's all powered through the Google Workspace Marketplace. So I'm going to click got it, so that little bubble goes away. But you've got the recording. You can do like a pulse survey of your audience in the meeting. You can live stream. So if you're doing maybe like a library program and you wanted to be able to stream it without, and it let people watch it without joining the actual meeting room, that's a good option. And then breakout rooms, so maybe you were hosting like a virtual conference and you wanted people to work together. You can split them into little breakout rooms for collaborating. But lots of nice activities in there. Then there's other host controls. So if you are the one that scheduled the meeting, you're the host of the meeting. You can, say, I want everyone to be able to share their screen, participate in the chat, send reactions, whatever it may be. You can do all that from in there. All right, we're going to end this meeting. And it'll show you left the meeting. It gives you an option. Do you want to rejoin the meeting or return to the home screen? You get this nice reminder that, Google is a safe environment, so your meeting was safe. No one from outside could join unless you had admitted them as the host. And up in the left, it gives you a little bit of a reminder. So maybe you had to pause the meeting because you had another staff member came into your workspace and they interrupted you, and you didn't want the meeting to hear that conversation. So instead of muting yourself, you left the meeting. It's given you just under a minute to return to the meeting, and you'd click rejoin on that. If we let this time out, it'll return us to this home screen where we can either start a new meeting, or if you had that code copied and handy, which we can paste it back in there, we can rejoin that meeting from here. And this is a screen that when you're not the host, you see the most often. So when you're about to join the meeting, it's saying like, do you want to allow your microphone and camera to be used? You can click on that and allow it. Sometimes you get a little pop-up box that comes, it looks like from the web address browser, and it asks you, do you want to allow microphone, allow video? And you would hit yes to those options so you can communicate more in your meeting. If there's other people who got the same link, invited to the same thing, and here it says no one else is here under this ready to join header, you'll see their little icon, that they have their Google profile set up in there. So you can see who's in the meeting. So maybe you needed 5 seconds, to ask a question before the meeting started. And as soon as you see the person's icon who you needed to ask, you could join now and have a little chat before it starts. All right, so that's what we've covered for Google Meet. I'm gonna bring you over to my workplace email to show you another way to get into Google Meet. So if we want to go to Gmail, which remember, you can always just search it in the Google taskbar and click on it if you don't want to use the little web menus. Ignore the emails, but Meet is on the left-hand side, and when you click on it, once it loads, it'll say, do you want to edit in calendar? Do you need a new meeting? Do you want to join a meeting? But it's integrated in with your Gmail, so you can do that very easily. And it's showing like we're in a meeting right now that was pre-scheduled. Do I want to join that meeting? I can do it right from here. So just another way that you can get into a Google Meet really fast. All right, let's go back to our PowerPoint, and we're going to move on to our next introductory topic, which is Google Tasks. So I think of Google Tasks like a to-do list. Tasks has very easy access from Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and Google Chat. You can link your task to important documents and emails. You can sort your task by date, add a recurring task or subtask, or create separate lists to categorize your different tasks. So we're going to try it out. And we're in NJALA's account right now. And I just want to show you, if you click on that Google Apps menu, or the waffle, as I like to call it, and you look for the different things that are here. We're looking for the word tasks, or we can look for the icon that we saw. And you'll notice that it's not in here. And if we click more from Google, it gives us ideas, product support, the store, other features, but it's not quite what we were looking for. But remember what I said is Google Task you can access easily from Gmail, Calendar, Drive, Docs. So let's just start with the Gmail. Like I showed you in my work account for setting up a meeting. At my workplace, Somerset County Library System, we are a Google work environment. At NJALA, we use a Google environment, but we are not a professional enterprise account. So you'll notice there's no meets on the left-hand side here to get into it. However, tasks is everywhere. So if you look on the right-hand side, under my profile picture for NJALA, you see things like calendar, keep, tasks lives here, and contacts lives here. If your Gmail is not showing these things, look at the very bottom right of your screen. There's this itty bitty arrow, and you can point on it. I pointed on it, clicked on it to make it go away. When it's pointing to the left, you click on it, that brings that little side panel bump out. So we're going to look for this circle with the blue checkbox in it and click that open. And here we have some tasks. So these are some things that are linked to our calendar. And they're things, like when the website updates, virtual agendas, e-blasts come out. Here's one that is linked to an email. So it's like a virtual presenter idea. So it's got their email of what their topic was. If we need to add a task, we can click on the little blue circle with the checkbox and the plus sign, or the words add a task, and it'll give us a title. So we can say, we want to set meeting agenda. And we can list details in there. So we can say this is for the November meeting. And a time and date, you can put in there when the meeting is, and this will link it to your Google Calendar. So maybe that meeting's coming up in a couple weeks. And if it's going to repeat, you can click on that and say, I want it to do it every day, every week, month, year. You can set the time of day. So maybe your meeting always starts at 11 a.m. You never want this reminder to end, or you're only going to meet 3 times. So maybe you're just going to say, oh, we're going to go to February and have our meeting in there. Or you can say after however many occurrences you want. You can use the arrows to adjust that, or you can highlight it out and you can type in a new number in there. So I'll leave it like that and click OK. And then we see it at the top, and it's got the reminder. If you want to go back to add another task and you click on the side, you can say, I want to reorder all of my tasks by date. So you'll see what's coming up first, and it's got today at the top. That meeting one that we just made, that was something happening later this month. So that went next. And then the one with no date, because it's just an idea, can be near the bottom. You can star them by starred recently. So if you wanted to put a star on it, they put them in order from most recent action to least recent action, but you can star something, then puts a little blue star on it. So you know that it's super important. Maybe this will be your reminder or check-in sheet. And maybe you'll star things to say I need to check off payroll every 2 weeks. And you'll star that because you want to remember how to do that process. There's keyboard shortcuts, more reminders for tasks. And if something is really going wrong, or a feature is all of a sudden disappeared that you used to like, you can send feedback straight to Google in here. You can even rename a list. So if you have a list of tasks, for example, this is NJALA's account, so it's a shared account. Maybe you want to rename the list of action items by each person who has is on your committee or something. So I could say like Crystal's tasks are, website administration, things like that. And maybe like my colleague Heather's tasks are things like sending out e-blast reminders and that kind of stuff. You can even print the list. So if you have a person, maybe you're going to assign assignments to a colleague and they're not very, digital savvy, you can still make the list for your ease if you are a technophile on the computer and then print the list of action items for them to do. So that's pretty neat. If we click on the top and where it said my task, you can also do it by like which ones are starred. And you can create a list from here too. So if we create a list, maybe it's like a shopping list. So things you need to do. And you have no tasks yet, but you're working out of the list. So you're going to say, we need to buy giveaways. And we're going to say we need like bags, pens, buttons, whatever it is you're going to give away. And you're going to give a date of when. You can think of it two ways. When am I going to start working on this, or when is it due by? So maybe you don't need to worry about it a while. So we'll go to the future. Whoops, I clicked off of it. We'll say we'll start working this on the 5th. We'll do it every day in the afternoon, and we're going to repeat it again for, we'll say, 10 weeks until we're done. And then we got it on there. So it's pretty neat. If we go now and we said February 5th, we're going to just open it really quick. The calendar. We'll see, we got some things that we had that meeting agenda. So it was doing it every day. Look at the meeting agenda. Wow. We've got, we can go into the future. We can go to February. Remember, we said let's buy giveaways. We're going to look at it every day for like a 2-week period. So lots of different options in there. And thankfully, Task works the same way in your free Gmail account or your paid, maybe workplace account. Okay, moving on to our next topic, which is GQueues. So GQueues is a task manager. You can create projects and link your Google Sheets and Docs and stay more organized. You can create tags or group similar projects together or even tasks together. And you can send an email or calendar reminder to yourself or to a colleague. In GQueues, you can also set assignments for other colleagues in the GQueues environment. So if tasks was not enough to keep you on target or to work collaboratively, GQueues may be an option for you. Now, GQueues, it does have a free account for casual users, but you'll see there's the core task management intuitive interface. You have to have a Google account to log in. GQueues for you is more for the solo users, and $3 a month is the price. But you get a few different options. You see some things from the enhancements from the free version, and then GQueues for business. This is really if you're gonna, use it as a true task manager and have a lot of collaboration, that may be an option for your workplace. But let's take a deeper dive into pricing because this is the one, GQueues is the one Google related thing that NJALA is covering today, which has a price tag with it if you want to get all the features. The neat thing though is if you wanted to buy it, let's say for every supervisor in your organization, maybe you have 40 supervisors. You can put in the amount of people that you have, and they give you a volume discount rate. So remember, it was $4 a month, like if it was one person for a business, but you add 40 users, it goes down to $1.60 per user per month. So you just have to look at the financials to see if that's a good option for you. But you can go through, let's close their little chat box, salespeople, and you can compare the plans. So GQueues Lite is like the free one. The one for just a solo business person is this GQueues for you. And then GQueues for business, maybe you're going to have, like I said, all your supervisors have GQueues. So you can see, the little check marks of what it has already starts to tick off. But if reminders were really important and the features already in Google Keep and Tasks and Calendar weren't enough for you, maybe then you need to beef up to this GQueues option. I'm just scrolling through so you can see some of the different options from the free to the paid to the group rate. Okay. Now we're going to try GQueues, and I also wanted to point out we're in NJALA's free Gmail account right now. We're scrolling through the app menu, and GQueues isn't in here. And again, we could click on more for Google and we could certainly get it and install it. But for me, I use GQueues at my workplace. So at Somerset County Library System, if I want to get into GQueues, there are 3 ways for me to do it, right? I can type in GQueues here. I can click on my Google app menu, the waffle, and I can scroll through all my linked apps and I can click on GQueues and it'll launch it from there. It's also in my Gmail account on the little side button. So this is the actual GQueues that I use at work. And to be honest, GQueues has a few more features in it than I needed personally to stay on task, but I think I've got a pretty sharp memory. So if you need the constant reminders and things, it is nice. You'll see here's a survival Spanish. It's a video, and then using the database Mango language. Spanish is a language that's spoken a lot in the community that I work in. So I've been trying to teach myself more conversational Spanish to interact with people. But you see, I've gotten busy and I haven't gotten to work on it a lot. So I set a reminder to do this weekly on Monday, but I haven't got to do it in a month now. So the neat thing though is if I click I'm done, so I want to clear the task, even though I click it, because I've got reminders set up, it's always in there. Same thing, I still need to fill out this notary tracker form. So it's in there. The reminder is more so for me to stay on task. There's no actual due date assigned to that task, but it's just for my peace of mind, so I remember to do it. Here's one that I purposely didn't check off, but I put different reminders and things in there, tasks I need to do for NJALA or for work or for other things. The neat thing is there's no, limit to how many you can put on. If you scroll to the bottom, things like that survival Spanish or NJALA tasks, they stay in there for as long as I need them to be. And then if you need to rearrange the order, because you don't like the tasks that are still overdue, maybe you went to the bottom once you checked it off, you can just reorder by date or when it was created. There's tags in there too. I did set up a few tags of things like, we've got copier machines in our branches, so ways we can, like helper forms of how we can do that. Forms for like how to get like a paid performer, the things they need to sign off, some different NJALA tasks I need reminders to do from my work account, different branches you work in, whatever it is, you can put it in there. There's also, you can make projects in there. So if you want to add a new task, maybe you're going to collaborate with other people that have GQueues. You can set up a new task in here and you just click on the add task and start planning. Once you do that, you can set a date of when it's due or when you want that reminder to come through. Here's where you can put in assignments. You can put in other users you work with that have GQueues, and you can give them tasks. You can add notes, so either reminders of what you need to do or tasks to need to be done in order. You can add attachments from any of the Google Suite. You can add tasks again on the side. This is kind of similar to the task manager that we looked at already. It's in Gmail and GQueues. Here's your tags. So if you want to assign this project to a tag so it lives in the same place, you can do that. Your more options, subtasks, duplicating tasks, overviews, links, activities. There's lots of features in there. Or if you made a mistake and you got too far ahead of yourself, you can just trash the task as well. There's also the inbox. To me, this was things that I was like, okay, things that are in emails. So there's lots of emails linked. So like this one's old, spring 2023, but when it was reference collection week and I wanted to remember where all the different forms were and the definition of a reference transaction, I have it in there ready to go. I can print it from here. I can download it from here. I can close out of it to go to a different inbox thing or task. If I had any active assignments, and I've tried the assignments thing. And like I said, if you are working with people who are tech savvy, GQueues is a great place. It can be, a real project management tool for you to collaborate on. But Google has so many other options and ways that they may be more familiar with. So don't drive the people you work with crazy by forcing another software on them. If everyone likes to work with, their Gmail and their calendar and their docs and their sheets, maybe stay in that environment until they're really more comfortable, and then you can move into something like GQueues. Yep, and the tags are there. So like I said, this was just an overview, simple tutorial of what these things can do and what they look like. So we're going to go back to our PowerPoint. I want to thank you for listening to me today. If you want more information about Meets, tasks, the GQueues marketplace, or overall Google Help, you got links in the PowerPoint, which I'll share with everyone. Or if you want to email me directly, my emails are on the list there at the bottom. Next month is the end of our series, deep dive into Google and how to use it. So we're going to cover Google Photos on December 7th. So I hope to see you there. And again, thank you all for coming and joining me today. Have a good day.